It's always a sense of happiness when you meet people traveling together on the same path. We are traveling together, we are co-travelers, and keeping company together is always nice. This morning somebody sent me a picture of John Elton, a singer, and along with the picture, it says a little notation. It says, when I was 5 years old, my mother told me that the most important thing to get in this life is happiness. When I went to school, John Elton says, when I went to school, my teachers asked me, what do you want to be in life? And I said, happy. And my teacher said, then you don't understand your assignment. And I told my teacher, then you don't understand life. I was happy to read that this morning. I get very interesting emails like that. That adds to my sense of appreciation of how people have searched for happiness. Long ago, I read a book, I think by Russell, one of the Russells. And the title of the book is Conquest of Happiness. And he writes how our life should be directed to finding happiness. And we are all looking for happiness, which seems to be so elusive sometimes. And most of the time, we make our unhappiness ourselves. He researches a lot on happiness. Then he goes to church, and he finds happiness. The church people are very happy. Such a big author has come, and he finds happiness in our church. They said, what part of the church do you like? He said, only one part for which I come. The stained glass paintings on the side. When I appreciate those paintings, I feel happy. He was not at all interested in what the pastor was saying. A friend of mine who works with me is complaining to me. He complained to me the other day, how come you're always happy? I want to see you sometimes unhappy. Because he told me in Chicago, he told me that you yourself say that you can only understand and appreciate happiness if you have seen unhappiness. So how come you have never seen unhappiness? So how is it that you are always happy every time I see, and I've seen you for 30, 40 years? What is the secret of this happiness? I said, I must have done my unhappiness course earlier, maybe in a past life. So I have done that part, so I'm now doing the other part. You can do that too. Some people feel that in their early age, they're having too many miseries around. And when they tell me such things are going bad, all the things are messy, I say, thank God it's happening now, because all will be great then afterwards to keep the balance. So therefore, this law of karma that operates to create conditions for us on which we make our happiness dependent, this law of karma includes high and low. It includes good times and bad times. And they come to all of us. Some of them have good times in terms of material prosperity and getting goodies here. And some people get good times in their relationships. Some people who have got a lot of apparently good things, they have very poor emotional happiness. I happen to know a large number of people who are today called celebrities because they have acted in films. They become famous actors and actresses, and I happen to meet many of them in California. And when I see them in their private life, they are the most unhappy people I've come across. And people who watch them in movies think they are so great. They've got so much money, fame, everything. And when you talk to them privately, they will tell you all that money and fame means nothing to them. It is not giving them the happiness they're looking for, because the happiness they're looking for is dependent on one thing they're missing. And they all seem to be missing, that they do not find someone to love and be loved. They say all our experience in life is based upon acting that we are loving on stage. And sometimes immediately after a shot is taken on the movie, where we show kissing each other, loving each other, and we curse each other immediately after that. And the directors get upset with us. But we do it just for the sake of doing our act and making money. And it does not give us any happiness at all. It was a big surprise that the people we think are very happy should be so unhappy. So that is why happiness comes when you can love somebody and be loved by somebody. Those who are loved by somebody, they forget all their material needs. And people, for the sake of loving an ordinary human being, are willing to jump over the roofs, are willing to jump at night, go secretly to meet their beloveds. They're willing to do anything. But when it comes to meditation and finding the beloved whose love is eternal, we don't do anything. We take it like a little chore that we have to perform. If we are able to develop that experience of love for the Master and the Master's love we can receive, you will always be happy. I can guarantee that. Everything else will be placed in second position. Therefore, the secret of happiness is not outside. It does not come from anywhere outside. It comes from within. It comes from the fact that inside you know your beloved is with you. You have the time with the beloved. And that the beloved loves you more than you can love the beloved. That state of being, which comes through the spiritual path, that cannot be attained by anything else. I have seen that most of the world pretends to be happy and are unhappy. It's amazing how just to keep up with other people, they pretend to be happy. You go to a house, live in that house, and see the husband and wife fighting. And a neighbor comes in, they all both smile, start smiling. It's all a pretense. What is their real life? Their real life, others don't know. People think these people are happy, these people are happy. Just stay 3 days in their house, and you'll find out how happy they are. I've tested this out. It is, the happiness does not come from depending on something outside. It comes from inside. And that is why, if we want to look for happiness, we have to look inside. And there is nothing inside if the one who can always be inside us is not there. When we get initiated by a perfect living master, that's the beauty of initiation. He places himself as a lover and beloved inside us and stays there forever, accessible to us forever. And that makes you happy all the time. People might wonder why you are happy. They ask questions, why are you happy? You can't even explain to them what's happening inside you. Because that inner connection, that inner relationship, which is so outstanding, it's not like any outside relationship. It does not have any ifs and buts. It does not have any conditions. It does not have any of these doubts that we have outside. It's a doubt-free relationship. It's the best love affair you can have. That you have somebody inside you, and that inside is constantly there. It takes a little exercise. And I think it's worthwhile to do that little exercise to reach that point, to reach that significant point in the center of our head, where the beloved sits. Therefore, I always feel that the best way to get eternal happiness, happiness forever, is to be lucky enough to be seeking that strongly, that intensely, that you are able to find the beloved inside you, and that you are able to establish a contact with that. When people meditate in the beginning after initiation, it is very called dry initiation because they don't see much. There is nothing. They try very hard. The harder they try, the more difficult it becomes to meditate, because they try to meditate with a lot of effort. And it's a very strange thing that effort does not count on this. It is not effort that will count. Because when we put effort in anything in this life, we are just doing it without ego. The I becomes strong. I did so much. When somebody comes to me, I have been initiated 40 years ago. I put my best effort. I did 6 hours of meditation. I did this, I did this. I said, do you know why it's not successful? You are telling me yourself. I, that's the reason for no success. If the I ego is so strong, that's the main obstacle to success in meditation. That is why there is no effort involved in reaching inside. On the other hand, when you fall in love with somebody, there is no effort in thinking about that person. There is no effort being pulled to that person. You make effort to achieve that, but you don't make effort to love. And similarly, here, if the relationship is based on that pull of love, you don't make effort. You're pulled by that love. And then all you have to do is to have nice conversations. Using a modern terminology, I think the best chat room is in the head. And when you can go there, you can chat. And you should chat even if you can't see. You should have a continuous program of chatting. Meditation should not be taken like it's an exercise. It's not a hatha yoga. It is not a yoga of stubbornness. Hatha means stubbornness. People who do hatha yoga, they are trying to be stubborn. I will get it no matter what. And all they get is a boosted ego at the end. I've seen so many of them. So therefore, this very divine, soft, smooth, melodious way of going within, based upon love and devotion, is the best. You would like to spend time with your beloved, chat with him, talk, express things, be angry sometimes. Somebody told me yesterday, sometimes get angry with you. I said, I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that if people get angry with me, because only one who loves me will get angry. Others will ignore me. Therefore, don't forget that if all our problems, all our feelings, good or bad, are being shared inside, what kind of relationship we are building? The whole secret of good meditation, of good spiritual progress, lies in the relationship you are building inside your head. Because the inside is more real than the outside, it works for a longer period of time to work inside your head.